It's not appropriate, and quite frankly, it sets a precedent. I think in 244 years, we have not had a local prosecutor go after a former president of the United States or his employees or his company.
The Trump Organization is going on offense tonight against tax fraud charges filed against the company and its chief financial officer by the Manhattan District Attorney, arguing the indictment is not about justice, but politics. So is it legal? Let's talk about that question tonight with attorneys Andrew Stoltman and Bob Bianchi. I think we all agree it is legal for a district attorney to charge someone they think they have the evidence to prove a criminal case. So let's start there. The state AG, Letitia James, also a part of this, saying today the investigation will continue and we will follow the facts and the law wherever they may lead. Bob, years and millions of dollars spent so far, and what we have now is an executive and the company charged thus far. But they say this will continue. Where do you think it goes from here?
Yeah, Shannon, there were a lot of tells that were made today by prosecutors who typically keep things close to the vest. But in court, and I kind of noted some of these, she said that the top executives were involved. She referred to former President Trump as the person who wrote some of these checks. There was indications that this went to the highest level of the executive leadership. You have Letitia James indicating that this is not the end of the investigation. So as a former prosecutor who's presented thousands of cases before a grand jury, a lot of times on financial crimes cases like this, you start off small with the small people on the lower level. They obviously want to put pressure on him in order to testify against either the higher executives or perhaps even the former president himself. I don't know the answer to that. And this is kind of the first salvo. Here you go. Now you're in cuffs. Now you're charged. And if you don't play ball, it's going to get worse. So we'll have to see what happens with respect to that. But my impression is I think there's a misguided understanding here that people think that this is the end of the game. I see it as the very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, the question is whether Mr. Weisselberg is going to be, Andrew, part of trying to flip. I mean, listen, he worked for the Trump Organization, has been associated with the president in some way for almost 50 years. But he was in cuffs today over something that a lot of folks say not everyone's going to get prosecuted for that. Do you think there'll be success in turning others within the organization against the Trump family or the former president himself?
Well, I think that's the $64,000 question. And I think Mr. Weisselberg holds all the cards at this point, because if he flips, I think it's going to be a very, very bad day for former President Trump, because he does know where the bodies are buried. And remember, we know with Michael Cohen that when prosecutors twist the knife and turn it, that a lot of people will flip. Now, Weisselberg is supposedly the ultimate company man. He's very close to the Trump family. So for President Trump's sake, I hope he doesn't flip, because if he does, it will be really bad news for a former president.
Yeah, and a lot of times that is the goal with these first charges. Okay, Andrew McCarthy, a familiar face to a lot of folks on this channel, says this: Empire State prosecutors are averting their eyes, declining to prosecute radical left rioters and allowing gangbangers to prey on urban communities under non-enforcement anti-police policies championed by Democrats. Somehow, though, Vance's office has time to scorch the earth in hopes of finding something, anything, to pin on Donald Trump. Bob, is that a fair assessment?
Listen, I'm a legal commentator. I don't engage in political hyperbole. Look, to the point that was just made, I think it's a great one. Michael Cohen testified under oath about hush money payments and real estate evaluation practices. That's looking at bank fraud, insurance fraud, and other bigger crimes that are here. So prosecutors aren't just going to turn away from that. That's why Michael Cohen is down there cooperating. And to the point, if Weisselberg flips, it may spell trouble for the rest of the Trump family. But moreover, there are bigger crimes they're looking at. So, I mean, I was a prosecutor. Yeah, you get this all the time. You're doing it for this reason, that reason. That. Maybe they are. I don't know. But nevertheless, that's not a defense under the law. You can't go into court and say, Judge, I want this case dismissed because, you know, they're Democrats and I'm a Republican, or they've never done this way before. That never works, Shannon.
All right, Andrew, quick 15 seconds. Would this be charged if it wasn't connected to the Trump Organization?
No, I've never seen these charges ever brought against another company before. I don't want to say it's unprecedented, but it is extraordinarily rare. These charges were brought for one reason, and it's because of the Trump name.
All right. Well, we'll see as it proceeds and how it does in court. Andrew and Bob, thank you both. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.